Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about why older Americans are aging in place and how this is contributing to the lack of inventory we have in the real estate market right now.
Right. So there are lots of people who are retired, about to be retired, have long since retired, and they are still in their home that maybe they raised their families in. This happens in our neighborhood. We happen to live next door to somebody who is living in a 5,000 plus square foot house and
Alone.
alone. They raise their family in there, grandkids in there, the whole thing, and this person is about the same age as my parents. So this kind of gives you perspective. This is not atypical. This is becoming really typical.
Yeah.
These people are aging in place. And this is partly because they are healthy enough to age in place, right?
That's part of it. So it's two things. It's health.
Right.
It's three things. It's health, it's accessibility, because they have more accessibility to things they need.
And the things that they're familiar with.
Right. And wealth, which
Yes.
we're going to talk about in a second.
So a lot of that wealth is tied up in these homes.
Right. So here's sort of the thing. 20 years ago, people would, once they, like, kids were out of the house and everything, they would want to retire. So what they would do is they would sell their house, downsize, use the money to pay off the house, maybe have a little extra money in the bank, and then they'd have a lower, cost of living because they had to get by in retirement and stuff. People are just wealthier than they were 20 years ago. And a lot of people now don't need, so you have all the people who, certainly there's some people who want to leave, but a statistic I read were that 77% of Americans do not intend to leave their house through their, die, they're going to die in their house.
Right.
That number was under 50%. Like, most people were leaving to, move to Arizona or Vegas or whatever, right? And get a small house. But they're not doing that. They're just aging in place.
Right.
That's the first thing.
Right. So, it's not uncommon now for people to say that they're going to leave their house feet first. So.
Right. The second thing is multi-gen houses.
Yes. So multi-gen houses, they've been around off and on, but they've really kind of caught on in the last decade or so. And they've caught on for a couple of reasons. One, because during the real estate crash, a dozen years ago, you had families who moved in together. So then they needed that separation, but while still living together. Then people are aging in place, like we said. So, and people care about their families. Not that people didn't always care about their families, but people care about their families. And so that they want to be close to maybe their parents or their grandparents and have them live with them, but not necessarily live with them, right? Have them have their own space. And then, of course, we have the younger generation who are boomeranging back, right? The young adults who have gone off to college, started careers, whatever, and for whatever reason that they're coming back home to live at home. And so again, they want to be close to mom and dad, but they want to still have some privacy. So that's what these multi-gen homes are offering. Because remember, a multi-gen home, they are together, but a multi-gen generally has a separate entrance, and they maybe have like a little kitchenette thing going on.
Right.
So they have sort of like this guest quarter, a mother-in-law quarter.
So it's two separate things. A multi-gen household, all that means is that you have adults living with generational adults. They could be a 2-bedroom house. It's not that they just live in a bedroom, right? It could be a mom, or it could be an adult child who is just, and we're not talking about they're 18, they're in high school. We're talking about, so that's the first thing, is you just have people in a house. Then there's the thing Juan is talking about, which is a specifically built multi-generational house. You physically have it's almost like an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, but it's physically connected. You just have a door, and then they have their own little kitchenette maybe and bedroom and shower and everything. So they could physically be separate, right?
But it is one house. It is one dwelling. It has one tax ID, one parcel number. It is one property. It generally cannot be rented to someone that you're not related to.
14% of all people buying houses right now are doing so as multi-gen buyers, meaning they're buying a house with their mom lives with them, or like a parent, grandparent, or adult child or whatever is living with them. And they're buying the house with that intent that they need a room for, an adult that's going to just stay with them for whatever reason. And sometimes it's to care for them. The child has a disability, parent's just older and needs someone there kind of
and
thing.
Sometimes it's an affordability issue because, of course, when you're combining incomes, that makes it more affordable.
Right. So the reason why this is important is because it lets people understand that, we have this baby boomer generation that own most of the homes. And remember, their median net worth is $1.6 million. These are wealthy people. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of not only real estate assets, but they just have a lot of assets. They don't have to move. A lot of them are having children move in with them. That's one of the common things. The ones that don't have children move in with them are having caregivers move in. And the number I saw was that 1 in 5 elderly people, and I think it was over 80, have a full-time caregiver living with them. And sometimes the caregiver is an adult, a child of theirs or grandchild, but a lot of the times it's someone they've hired that just lives with them.
Right. And, caregivers are a good option, particularly when you consider some of the other options where it's just really exorbitant. I mean, to have somebody be in a care facility is sometimes tens of thousands of dollars a month, depending on the facility and what's being offered.
It's a ton of money. They're super expensive.
They are super expensive. So having somebody move in with your loved one may be a good option because now your loved one gets to stay in their home where they're comfortable, they're familiar, and it's a much, much better situation for them, particularly if the care that they need can be provided in the home.
So when you include multi-generational families not leaving, the old, basically people over 50 not leaving, when you include landlords who won't sell their rental properties because there's no reason to, and then you also include the fact that home builders are not building, this tells you that moving forward, these numbers have been seeing for the last few years, that there's a shortage of homes is probably going to continue. It's not likely, they almost did it right, 2021, they almost started building enough homes, but they backed off now. So now it's going to be interesting.
Right. And these multi-generational homes, I think, in time, people will want their own place and they will be in the market to purchase. And I don't know that those homes will be out there available for them. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So if this was interesting, if you learned something, if we brought something to your attention that you hadn't considered, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, leave us a note and tell us what you think, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.